6th straight week, guys. We got to come in here and talk about a loss. So obviously not good. This one, I will say, at least they showed some fight, some character. I think the offensive line played better than they have all year. I think the defensive line played better than they have all year. Just early on, again, shooting yourself in the foot. How many times have we said this throughout the year? These wide receivers are getting open. We give them the ball. They drop the ball. It's not the scheme. It's the players in this game, especially. Like the scheme and on offense. The defense, we can discuss the scheme. But offense, these guys were getting open. The play calls were good. And they're just dropping passes. Xavier Worthy was dropping passes. Marcus Washington was dropping passes. Everyone was dropping passes. Another bright spot, Keelan Robinson finally got involved more. And it took our best player to get hurt for that to happen. That's ridiculous. He should have been involved more from the get-go. He's a really, really talented, good player. And I don't understand that, why it took this long for him to get involved. You heard Nick Saban this week talking about how if he was at Alabama, he would be involved more and he should have stayed. He's probably right because he's not been involved enough here. He's really explosive. He's really good. You saw that with the long touchdown run. It doesn't make much sense. On the defense, 3 times in this game, you can look at third downs when we had momentum on offense and we started to get it rolling, where we could have stopped them and probably got the ball back and scored. Giving up 3rd and longs, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18, I think a 3rd and 12 as well. And he runs the same damn scheme for all 3 plays. 2 high safety every single time. He didn't bring a blitz. When we got the 2 sacks in a row, I said, light him up. He doesn't want to be hit again. He's going to make a stupid decision or throw it away. And no, we sit back and he shreds us. Why are we running the same damn scheme all the time? It's infuriating. He mixed and matched a little bit more than he usually does, but it's still 2 high safety most of the time. And it's getting ridiculous at this point. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't work. I'm going to get to your comments because, again, this is basically just the same movie repeating itself over and over again. Like I said, also props to Hudson Card for coming back. The game dude couldn't walk. I mean, at all. He was literally running on one leg and throwing on one leg at the end there. It's just sad what we've become, to be honest with you. DMS 1983, been a Texas fan since 1903, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I've really been watching since like 2003. So, I mean, I don't know. Those Charlie Strong teams are pretty bad. I think it's just it is. It's one of the 3 worst for sure. Leo. Yeah, 100%. Defense coordinator is awful. I talked about this with Mark. If you haven't watched that, it's on the channel here. He broke it up in a couple segments. I talked about it. If we can't get Jimmy Lake to marry the secondary with the front we're trying to play, I think PK needs to be fired. I personally wanted to keep, like, if there was tiers to this, I wanted Barry Odom was my number 1. Number 2 was Muschamp, and then number 3 was Ash. I think if we didn't get those 2, we should have kept Chris Ash, and it's kind of showing. Our defense has regressed a lot. The tackling has gotten worse. Like I said, going into the Kansas game last week, we were the 2nd worst tackling team in the Big 12. Kansas was the worst. After last week's game, I'd have to check the stats. I'm sure we're worse because Kansas out-tackled us in the game last week. And then there was obviously some quit as well the last couple weeks. Today I didn't see that as much. They did play a little bit harder, but it's just like you got to get out of your own way at some point. Wide receivers, you have one job on the team, like one really important job. Guess what it is? To catch the ball. You got to be able to catch the ball to play wide receiver, and you're dropping these passes that should be caught, and you're not helping out our quarterbacks. Our quarterbacks are not good enough for our wide receivers to be dropping this many passes. They don't make enough plays on the road. I will say Hudson Card, again, showed improvement in the pocket. His presence looked better. His footwork looked better. So he's making improvements. The problem is with both the guys, there's not enough consistency. These guys seem to play up and down instead of just being an even keeled. I would take a guy that plays a B minus the whole year over a guy like Casey Thompson who seems to either play an A game or a freaking D game. Like there's no in between with him. So it's going to be interesting.